time for us to start, so you get full day in. Some of you will remember Susan Norman from the consultants' day that she facilitated so brilliantly a few years ago, and we're really lucky to have her back again today to teach you, and I know that you're going to have an excellent day with her, because her experience with training and with NLP and with helping consultants to develop their skills in their approach to people. I think you're going to find it really beneficial today. Anyway, welcome to Susan.
One of the first things you need to learn is how to do a good handshake. So what I'd like you to do is just think about giving a firm handshake, nobody likes a wet fish, an appropriate length of time, and just making contact with people, look them in the eye, say your name, say hello. All the people in the room, you have 3 minutes. Think about all the things that you want from that person and that you don't want from that person. Now, rather than just sitting there quietly on your own, on the count of 3, I'm going to ask you to stand up. 1, 2, 3. So off you go to one of the sections.
Yes. That's going there. No mobile.
Wants to necessarily have a handshake with
Sure.
me.
Could you go around and read what the other people have written, and then go back to yours and just see if you've got 1 minute just to add anything if you want to. So whiz round and have a look and see what the other people have written. I'm not handing out any piece of paper that gives you all the answers. I'm going to be handing out a piece of paper that gives you lots of questions and get you thinking, but because the important thing is that this information becomes yours. So my way of working is that by the time you walk out at the end of the day, you've just reminded yourselves of all the stuff you know, and you've got some extra good ideas, partly from each other and partly from me, but that you've got what you need. So there is not one right way of giving going in and giving a consultation. There's your way. And look at it and see if there's anything at all you can do to improve it. Every single thing you can find that's wrong with it, could you please jot it down? Don't go for the positive yet, just know what's wrong with it. Okay, so if we were coming up with a list of don'ts, they would be from the first paragraph?
Don't be late.
Don't be late, okay. Anything else?
Shake hands.
Shake hands.
He didn't say his name.
Didn't say his name, didn't introduce him or herself. Okay, so no introduction, no credibility. Yeah, dumping your stuff on the clients, number 1.
No confidentiality. Talking about other.
Right, confidentiality. My first thought is you're going to now be talking about me at the next person. Okay.
Calling your clients idiots.
Clients are idiots, very good. I mean, not very good.
Running down colleagues.
Yeah,
Running down colleagues, and the so-called Feng Shui expert, absolutely.
Again, saying that the Feng Shui is new age rubbish.
Yeah, you used the word new age rubbish, which doesn't look good. And if they're going to be negative, that's the sort of thing they're going to be saying anyway, so let's stop that.
If you make a joke before you've created rapport,
Yeah, you can make a joke once you've created rapport, but not until then, and even then, be careful with it. It's all about building a relationship with the client and empowering them. What people really want is control of their own environment, control of themselves, control in their own house, and choice. There are two things we want, control and choice. And I think it's our job to give them both. What I'd really like us to come up with, as a group, are a list of advice guidelines to people for how to run their face-to-face consultation. Okay? And having looked at what you've written and thought about it a bit myself, I think there are a range of personal things about consultants. You know, what sort of a person you are as you come in, what relationship you have with the client, so what sort of things would you build in there. That's personal. Then there's the professional bit, which obviously overlaps. So the professional is actually the listening part. As you so rightly pointed out, the first thing you need to do is listen. It's their house, what do they want? What is it they're trying to achieve by inviting you in? So what would you say about listening? And then what would you say about what advice you give and how you give that advice? So are there any kind of general rules about advice giving? Okay?
Ingrid, you does the client send the map of the house? Everyone's different. I always ask for a map. And I don't need to use the loop instead of super. Listen to the audio, so it's first.
What I've always found is when people ring me up about consultations for whatever, I've always got my hands in the washing up, or I'm right in the middle of doing something else, or I'm thinking something, I'm writing about something completely different. So what I do is, next to my phone, have a brief list of the 6 things I need to mention to people, like when it is, where it is, how much I'm going to charge for it, and that sort of thing, and the information you need to know, and how you're going to make contact. So I put that next to my phone on the desk. I mean, if I'm out, it's tough. But just so that I remember to do those 6 things before I actually get started. And I found that that's quite a useful prompt. But what I'd like you to do, so that's my one thing I'd like to say. 30 seconds maximum. Anything that you either learnt or you think is really important from the exercise, what I'm going to ask you to do is stand up and just speak for not more than 30 seconds to bring a point out that you'd like to raise from this morning. What was it? Something that was important. Yes. Okay. So stand up first.
Yeah.
And can you also say your name?
Okay. My name is Kate Hong. I'm a master with Grandmaster Chan's Choice Style Feng Shui. My 30 seconds then, I think, is on the pre. And I always find it a major advantage to get to a client at least half an hour prior to the appointment. If I get held up, then so be it. But if I can just have a walk around the area and arrive composed, then I find that the whole consultation flows so much more easily. Allow my energy to understand the energy of the area, I think is what I want to say.
Okay, nice one. Did you write that on the list?
No, it just came to me.
Okay, this is our chance. Anybody else?
I'm Amanda Casey, Soothing Spaces. I don't know if this is the sort of thing you mean, but this is quite practical, I suppose, but I've learned from experience to always confirm in a letter to people the date and the time of the appointment, how much it's going to cost, what they're getting, just so there's no confusion on those sort of scores.
I'm Carla. Practical stuff, simply get the address, how long they've been there, dates of birth, how old the house is, what the predecessor to you is like, what are the neighbours like, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Sylvia Bennett. Find it very helpful to advise the client beforehand of the type of length of time that we expect to be there, so that they can do their own planning their day, and to make sure that they've got sufficient time to spare for me to be able to work properly.
I always check virtually what's going on. So I go online and just do the Google search. If there's a street map, I can see what's going on, but also Google Earth to see what happened before. And sometimes I just check the people, see what they're up to.
I'm Tracy London. I always do protection before I get there. I normally get there early, park down the road a little bit, put my thoughts together, do some protection, and then go in so I'm composed.
Who are the sorts of people who like to go first to get it over with?
Me? Out. No, not
Just maybe
okay.
wait till you've got your audience.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Effie, and I'm a fairly new Feng Shui consultant. And what Feng Shui is for me is actually placing people into their optimal environment. So putting them into the environment which is optimal for them personally. And we all know that our environment affects us either positively or negatively. So if we manage to somehow uncode or decode the environment, then we can actually benefit the individual and give them the best surroundings, really. That's it.
My name's Carla. Feng Shui to me is exactly what she said. And I sometimes, if people don't know anything about it, I said, normally it reflects your home's environments, it reflects where we have got to so far. It reflects the past, and for me, Feng Shui gives us an opportunity to think about what changes we want to make and what we want our future to be.
My name is Jan. So for me, Feng Shui is what Effie said and Carla said. And this is what I say to my clients. Probably the best definition of Feng Shui comes from Winston Churchill. Although Feng Shui has been going on for over 3,000–4,000 years, he nicely kind of summarized it and said, we shape our buildings, thereafter they shape us. And this is what Feng Shui is about and how it works. But really, for me, it's kind of physical affirmation. So whatever you're doing in your environment will affect you and also make your home work for you or work against you.
I am Tracy. All of the past what I've said is true, and I believe too. As Feng Shui, your home is a mirror of your life. So if you make changes to the home, I believe that makes changes to your life. And I feel like I'm a detective when I go out and I'm looking for clues either in what I see or what I hear from the client. And then it's all about working out the best way for them to make a change, empowering them to make the change. Right, well done, all the people who've spoken so far. Nobody else is allowed to say all of the above. Okay, we'll take that as read. And now, the other thing I'd like to think about is being a Feng Shui consultant and a presenter from the moment you get to here. So, no more stuff, but I'd like you to be professionals, walk up, take control of the stage, look at all the people, and then talk. Okay? Well done. Next one.
Hi, I'm Amanda Kenton, and for me, Feng Shui is about setting up the best possible conditions in people's working and living environments for them to operate at their best. So I assess the shapes, colours and arrangement of furnishings and so forth, and whether those support that person's energy type. And make adjustments where necessary so that they can feel more rested, make better decisions and be more successful in their lives.
Is waiting long enough to let people clap you. And that really is hard, okay? So at the end, I promise you will clap, All right, that's part of the deal. But just say they're long enough to let it happen before you go off. Next.
Well, good afternoon, folks. I'm Mike. I would say that Feng Shui is all about you, and actually how the environment influences you. Because if you can understand that, you can turn the whole thing on its head then and work out how do you start to deliberately engineer the environment to help you in your ambitions. For me, that's Feng Shui.
It's really hard to let people clap you. You have to stand there and take it.
Hello everyone, my name is Kay. So what is Feng Shui to me? Feng Shui to me is like acupuncture to the body. It's about letting those energy meridians move through the property, through the home, identifying the blockages within the home and using your skills to release those blockages. It's part of following the environment, following the powers of nature. And if we want to question nature, we simply have to look at the United States this last week. We can see the power of nature by just simply looking at the events of the circumstances in America last week. This is the power of nature. This is the power of Feng Shui.
That was a good one. Saying the word thank you gives us a clue that you've reached the end. Okay, so if you give them a clue, they'll clap.
Good afternoon, my name is Hege Nordahl. I come from Norway. And for me in Norway, Feng Shui is about how I can create more beauty and more order into my life. I regard it as the art of placement, and I can have fun with it. It's such a fun and inspirational way of making changes. And also changes that people can do by themselves. Because I'm also a psychotherapist, and the threshold for coming to a psychotherapist can often be very high. But with Feng Shui, it's easier and much more fun. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Jan Spalding and I came from Prague. I have been thinking very hard what to say about Feng Shui, but for me, I suppose I can sum it up. The Feng Shui is about harmony. I believe it's an art which teaches us to bring a balance into our life, not only to create nice environments, but also to find the right relationships, which I believe it's all part of the Feng Shui. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'd like you to do is give all those people another big round of applause. It's quite great to